Hey there, everyone. Welcome back. So, one of my viewers asked me what to do if you buy one of those antique pistols that will not accept an optic. Okay, what are you supposed to do? So, one of the options that he was asking me about is getting it cut, where basically you send it into a gunsmith. You can usually find one online that's specifically cut. It cuts out or basically grinds out a section for the optic to fit on. I don't recommend it. What I recommend is you basically just buy another slide. Okay, so this is the factory Glock slide that came with this Glock 22. It was a 40 cal. So I don't shoot that much 40 cal. I just shoot every once in a while. So it kind of didn't make sense for me to buy a whole other Glock 22, right? That was, basically a Glock MOS that was factory cut. So what I did is I just got this Hooper Gunworks slide, okay? That's RMR cut to take basically a Holosun 507, and it looks pretty good. It's got these lightning cuts here. When I got it, I think it was maybe something like $150. Sometimes you can get them cheaper, sometimes they're more expensive. So all I did is I just bought the slide, and then I just swapped out all the parts. So on the back here, let me take this apart for a second. All you're gonna do is you take like a little Allen key, right, and you put it underneath the firing pin lug. You stick it in there right behind the plastic. There's a little plastic sleeve, and you pull it down, right. And then when you pull it down, it takes the tension off. So you can just kind of put your fingernail over here and push out the back plate. That is, you just put an Allen key in there behind the little plastic, pull it down, and then push the end plate out. And that will allow you to take out the firing pin, take out the extractor rod, take out the extractor, take out the firing pin block over here, and then you can use the same. Basically, I use the same barrel, same recoil spring, and you just swap it in, right? So it's only going to cost, like I said, when I got it, I think it was something like $150. I've seen it cheaper. I've seen it more expensive. There's a bunch of companies that make these. So I like the Hooper Gunworks is nice. Okay. Now the purpose of these lightning cuts, I've always thought that like the way I've envisioned it is that it offsets the additional weight of the optic, right? Because the optic adds a little bit more weight, and there's a balance, right, between like how heavy your slide is and what the tension on your recoil spring is. It's not that much on slides that don't have the lightning cuts. I've never really had a problem. The only time I have an issue is if I try to put like a linear compensator or some type of compensator on the front of the gun, on a threaded barrel. That's when I have to usually go with a much lighter, not much lighter. Usually I'll go like 2 pounds lighter on the recoil spring, but usually it's not an issue. Okay, one of the issue with the lightning cuts, right, with these holes here, is in a combat type of situation, that will allow dirt and stuff to get into the into the engine of the gun, right? Because this is it's basically a blowback design that locks, right? Because there's a locking, basically the barrel locks into the slide. So if dirt gets in there, right, you can have, it can increase the chance of this jamming up on you. So for a combat gun, in there. There you go. Okay. So yeah, on a combat gun, I would prefer not to have these holes here. However, on for fun everyday shooting guns, it looks kind of cool. Okay, so let's shoot this 40 cal. I haven't shot this in a while. Let's see how we do with this. Now, my favorite, shooting left-handed, one-handed, okay? That's one of the exercises that I like to practice. Let's see how I do with the 40 cal. So I've covered this in a different video. When you are shooting one-handed, right? Little tip for you guys. When you are shooting one-handed, because basically wherever the opening is in your grip, this is where the gun is trying to come out. So if I'm holding it right-handed, this is the opening. The gun's going to want to kick in this direction. If I'm holding it in my left hand, the gun wants to kick in this direction. So what I do is I offset with my trigger finger. So when I press the trigger, I'm actually pulling a little bit to the left to offset that pull. So normally if I'm shooting two-handed and I'm pushing into the gun, I'm pressing the trigger straight back. I'm being careful not to pull left or right. Right? I want to keep my optic on the target as I press that trigger. But when I'm shooting one-handed, I actually basically I hook my finger a little bit more, and then you see how I pulled left? Let me do that again. Right, so normally if I'm shooting with two hands, right, I'll do it this way so you guys can see it. So when I press the trigger, you don't see the gun moving to the side, right? Okay, but if I'm shooting one-handed, right, I want to hook a little bit to the left. I'm going lefty, like that. See, I want to pull a little bit to the left. I'm shooting right-handed, I'm going to hook the other way. So now I'm going to hook to the right. Right? And what that does is it offsets the kick where the gun is trying to come out of this hole, and that's what allows me to stand here at about, whatever this is, about 10 yards, and still be able to hit that target, okay? Because it's really hard. If you press that trigger straight back, what's going to happen is if you're shooting one-handed, it's gonna really kick out hard wait, hold on. Yeah, I got to pull this way. It's going to kick out hard to this side. It's always kicking to the open side, all right? So it's going to be pulling, it's going to be yanking that way, and then you really got to work hard to bring the pistol back on target. Okay, so I'm doing this with a 40 cal. These are decently hot loads. So yeah, it definitely has a little bit of that kick. Like I said, I don't shoot 40 cal that often, just because 9mm for the most part is good enough, does the job. So yeah, I mostly shoot 9mm, but yeah, every once in a while I like shooting the 40 cals and 45 and some other calibers. Now, normally the Glocks that I shoot are polymer 80s, right? Which have basically more of a 1911 style grip. So having not shot this in a while, I mean, basically, yeah, you can definitely, I'm not the first to say this, but you can definitely feel the trigger guard biting into your, into your middle finger. People that shoot like factory Glocks, like on a regular basis, they'll always have like a little callus over here. So with the polymer 80s that I typically shoot, that's not an issue because it's got more of a 1911 style grip. So anyway, a few things for you guys to think about. Let me know what you guys think. If you got any other different ideas, please share them. I'll talk to y'all soon.